Happy close of trade on Monday, 10th of February. I'll be doing an update on the ASX stories of the week. But before I do that, I'd like to thank my sponsors, which is absolutely nobody, because my opinions and analysis is not funded and influenced by brokers. I've mentioned in my previous videos for ZNO and BIT that the coronavirus story should only last about 1 to 2 more weeks at the time, because it was kind of similar to SARS, Ebola, swine flu, Zika, yada yada yada. All those infectious diseases lasted about an entire month in the news cycle. Coronavirus, however, seems to be a bit different, and that's only as of today. We believed it was a direct transmission and contact transmission based virus, where people have to be nearby to someone to get infected, or have to touch them and then touch their own mouth or nose or eyes. But it turns out it's an aerosol transmission based virus, and it's confirmed in other websites as well. And we can see this happening in the Tokyo cruise ship. I mean, one person just infected. Last numbers I saw were 280 people. 280 people from a single infection. Even if there was 2 or 3 infections, that's still pretty big. So how does this impact our trading? Well, I got ZNO here on the 5-minute chart. We can see not only did it gap up really high, but it gapped up above resistance, which is really strong. So I closed out personally at $1.20 for my first half of the parcel, and I plan on selling my other half a little bit later down the track. I'm willing to ride the rest of this story out, but at the same time, I still do take profits on my way out. I entered at roughly 8 cents, and I'm happy with taking the profit that I have. I mean, that's a 50% profit, so I'm still riding the wave with the rest of my parcel. News came out today. If we just bring this up on the daily chart, we can see the kind of impact that it had. Very strong gap up, and news today supported that, because we've got an announcement here that ZNO has an exclusive childcare and hotel distribution announcement or agreement with China. Now, this sounds interesting because it sounds like it's got an exclusivity in all the markets in childcare and hotels in China. So that is allegedly the case. And the odd thing is that they're only pulling in 1.5 million for the first 18 months. I know it says a minimum purchase volume, but 1.5 million New Zealand dollars in 18 months for having exclusivity in all the markets in China? Every single childcare and hotel, and you're only pulling 1.5 million? Something doesn't sound right there. And there's not much else in this document that really supports more information on this, but this is definitely a hype sounding announcement. When you read this part here up the top, the headline, that sounds amazing. And then you actually confirm that it's all the markets in China, that's even better. Then you read this part and you're like, really? That's all? Don't get me wrong, this is really, really good for a speculative stock. It's not good for a $167 million stock, because that's the market cap we're sitting at right now. So if we look at the 4C, they're already pulling in 600k revenues and 1.8k for the 6-month period. So if they're pulling in 1.8k over 18 months, it's not going to do too much to their revenues. Sure, it's going to bump it up plus 50% roughly, but in terms of profitability, I mean, it might suddenly make them break even, I guess. But I wouldn't look at this as a fantastic long-term story. This is just simply hype, and hype alone. We're simply trading a story here because the financials don't add up. You're going to be breaking even, perhaps a little bit more, and you've got a $167 million company. I just don't buy into it. Imagine if a company that you're running has exclusivity in every goddamn market in China, every childcare and every hotel, and you're only pulling in $1.5 million. Something is off about this, but it's still a great story. Don't get me wrong. Trade the trade. Who knows? We could maybe see this hit $2, maybe $3. It's hard to look at the horizontals or anything, because the next horizontal really is $3.20, $4, and if we get there, $20. But look, I highly doubt it gets anywhere near the $20 range. That's for sure. Maybe 300 million market cap is a wild enough number. We've seen stories hit higher, so 300 million maybe, so that's double this price. That'll be $2.60 roughly for 300 million market cap approximately. That seems out of reach to me, but again, coronavirus is now more dangerous than it was before, and we've got more of a story to tell. Plus, we've got every goddamn market in China apparently in this company, so I would trade the trade until they clarify this announcement, because something does seem a little bit suspicious. Now moving on to Biotron, we traded this story at 8 cents and we closed out at 10 cents when this news announcement came out that Biotron actually ended up testing their compounds against coronavirus. That was the expectation we wanted. We wanted this story to go from speculation to confirmation. Unfortunately, it was my mistake. I closed out my entire position of BIT here at 10 cents instead of half my position, taking 25% profit and riding the wave. That's my mistake, and there's really no justification for a poor decision. I didn't stick to my trading plan, and as a result, I suffered, I guess, a miss of capital, basically. But it's no big deal because we're still riding the coronavirus-based news, and we've got other opportunities that we're still working on. So that's perfectly fine, but it does still sting. Moving on to the final stock, OEC, or Orbital Corporations Limited. This one's not related to coronavirus, however, it does have really strong financials, and we're hoping to ride the wave. I still consider this one undervalued, and I'll be looking for a re-entry in this position. However, we bought in with 2 parcels because we couldn't get in a single order. So we bought in at 57 and 58.5, and we sold one of those parcels, which is half, at 70 cents on the market open. And then we ended up getting stopped out at 53.5. And this is the reason why I like selling profits on the way up as soon as possible. I like selling half my parcel on a nice big move up. We take some good profits. We ended up with roughly plus 22% profit on the first move, and then we ended up losing around 8% on the move down. So overall, it was a winning trade. It didn't go the way I wanted to, but I will still be looking at this stock for a short to mid-term trade or investment, if you will. I will be looking for a re-entry here, so it's just a matter of finding out where that is and just watching the market and seeing if any news comes out. Perhaps at the 61.8, who knows, I'll decide that in the future. That's all for the updates of the stories of the week stocks. I hope you keep trading the coronavirus story, whether it's BIT or ZNO or any other small cap speculative stock. If you like my free content, please drop by my Twitter page at demoniaco.au or my Patreon page at ASX Tutorials. Thanks guys.